It's mid-season review time for the Port Adelaide Football Club. What's gone right? What has gone wrong? There's been a lot. We're going to go through it all in today's episode. Have a look at their season so far. Have a look what we can expect from them for the rest of the year. Sit back, enjoy. This is the All Aussie Rules YouTube channel. Welcome in to the All Aussie Rules YouTube channel. We've got another mid-season review coming your way today. It's the Port Adelaide Football Club mid-season review today. As each team gets to their bye in season 2025, we are doing a mid-season review, going over how they're going this year, having a look at their players, who's playing well, who's not, and then a look to the future, see what they've got in store for the rest of season 2025. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoy this video. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of Port Adelaide so far this year and where we can expect to see them finish in season 2025. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the noti bell so you don't miss any videos. There's plenty coming out at the moment, as well as 2 podcasts every single week. We have all these mid-season reviews. This is number 3 for the year. This is Port Adelaide. Already up on the channel is the Bulldogs and Carlton, so go check them out. North Melbourne will be coming out tomorrow, and then there's a whole host of other teams over the next 5 or so weeks. So you don't want to miss any. Check them all out. Let's jump into the content for this episode. First up, the season so far. What to say about Port Adelaide? There's a lot. We'll start with how they've gone game by game. Obviously, had the bye opening round. They came into round 1 at the MCG against Collingwood, and it was a disastrous start. They lost by 91 points. It was not a good performance, but as we have with every other team, including Collingwood, we forgive one bad game to start the season. And then it kind of basically got better from there. Obviously wiped out most of their bad percentage in round 2 when they smacked Richmond by 72 points. Rounds 3 and 4 were not good results, let's be honest. Neither of those teams have gone on to anything after that either. I mean, Essendon have won a few games, but they've been all against lower ranked teams. St Kilda have looked quite poor most of the season. And they lost to both of those back-to-back weeks, including St Kilda at the Adelaide Oval, which, go figure. Then played their best game of the season when they smacked Hawthorn all over the park. Only ended up winning by 30 points in the end, but looked really good, especially in that first half. Sydney by 8 points at the SCG. Who saw that coming? And then North Melbourne only just got over the line there, but their last 4 weeks have been nothing short of a disaster. 90-point loss to Western Bulldogs. 5-point loss in the showdown against Adelaide. Was a pretty solid performance, but lost by 5 points. 76-point losers at home to Geelong. So that's their 3rd loss at Adelaide Oval already this season. And then last week, 49-point losers to Fremantle in the pouring rain. So they're sitting 4 wins, 7 losses. Disastrous percentage of 79.1. They're 15th on the ladder. Their record against top 8 teams is 1-4. That one win coming against Hawthorn. And then record against bottom 10 also not great, 3-3, with losses to Essendon, St Kilda, and currently Fremantle are in the bottom 10. So not a spectacular start to their season. Probably you'd have to say almost the most inconsistent team in terms of the biggest gap between their best and their worst. Their best being that first half against Hawthorn looked absolutely sensational. When they're on, good luck stopping them because they are very good. But their problem is we've seen a lot of their bad this season, and it's stacking up and making their season look harder and harder going forward. Look at some of the key stats. We don't have any graphics for these, but we got so far this year offensively, scoring wise, they're 15th in the league, as well as defensively they're 15th. So not fantastic there. They are the 8th youngest team, so pretty much midfield in terms of age profile for the teams they've been putting out there this year. They have blooded quite a few young players, so that is a positive. They're the 3rd worst kicking efficiency team in the AFL this season. The only 2 teams that are worse are Carlton and West Coast, who similarly not having good seasons. Second most amount of clangers in the AFL so far this year. 16th in contested possessions, 16th in accuracy in front of goal, 12th for shots per game, so they're not getting a huge amount of shots, and 17th for shots per inside 50. They're just not creating the opportunities that they were this time last year, or that this team is capable of. They have some very good players, but they're just not putting it together. Transition, both offensively and defensively, they're one of the worst transition teams offensively, but they're one of the better teams transitionally defensively. So make of that what you will. There's not fantastic chain and ball movement in their games is basically what it comes down to. 17th, so second worst in the competition at points against from stoppage. Not a good stat for them. So there's only one team that concedes more points from stoppage than Port Adelaide. And the 18th, so last in the competition at points against from the opposition gaining the ball in the opposition's forward 50. So they're turning it over. They're giving away scores a lot from that, from their defensive 50, from Port Adelaide's defensive 50, or defensive half at least. So really, really bad sign that is for Port Adelaide. They're just not getting the ball out. They're not getting the ball forward. And opposition are making them pay quite regularly. So not a great start to their season so far. Can we expect more? We'll have a look at that shortly. We're going to jump into their players, broken down into position by position. First of all, we go into the defence. Key defenders. They've tried 3 so far. Alia's they've had other people like general defenders and stuff that have filled the role. A couple of those guys do play key roles at times, but Alia played 11 since 18th as a key defender in the competition, which suggests probably a first team, like the number one key defender for most teams, or maybe not most teams, but would get a go in most teams. Not a fantastic season so far. He's been solid, hasn't been great. Asava Radagalia, he a bit different. He's only played the 8 games. He's certainly ranked back at 38th. I don't know if he is a best 23 key defender at any team, really. He certainly wouldn't get a gig at most, I don't think, as a second key defender. He's probably at your spot in your team as your third key defender. And to be honest, that's probably where he will be. Brandon Thatcher played last week, his first game of the year. He was really good in that game. Don't expect his rating to stay up around the 50. Probably will drop to around about the 40 to 43 mark. But he is capable of also being... He will probably be their second key defender going forward, I would imagine, if he can stay fit and healthy. General defenders, there's a little bit of a blue herring, I guess, here, in that Connor Rose listed as a general defender, and he has been for the last 6 weeks, 6 games or so. He started the season obviously as an inside mid until Zach Butters joined the team from about round 4 or 5, and then since then Connor Rose has been basically running off the back line but joining the midfield at times as well. He rates as a general defender, and he rates as an elite general defender. 5th best in that position this year so far. He's having a really good season. He's getting a lot of the ball. He uses it pretty well most of the time. He doesn't get enough support though. The reason they've had to put him back, it is twofold. They have a lot of inside mids that all want good game time and good centre bounce attendance numbers, but also they don't really have that good ball user, high ball winning player on the half back flank. Since Dan Houston left, it's left a little bit of a hole in their team, and this is the solution they've gone with Connor Rose. He's been good at it, there's no doubt about it so far this season. He's on track for being close to the All-Australian team as a general defender at the moment. Ryan Burton's played 5 games, been pretty solid in those 5. He's ranked 38 as a general defender. Miles Bergman, he rotates between the wing, general defender, and also played a couple games as a key defender. He's ranked 46. Kane Farrell, he's 49. So you got a lot of these players that are role players but just not quite the next step, which has meant that Connor Rose's had to be back there. Logan Evans is ranked 54, and then a couple players below average as a general defender so far this year in Lockie Jones and Josh Sin. Hugh Jackson's only played the one game, didn't even play half of that game either, and Rory Atkins has played a couple late. His numbers have been pretty solid, but we'll wait and see what they look like after a few more matches. So that's the back line. We jump up the other end of the ground. It's the forward line. Their key forwards, Mitch Georgiadis is obviously their key forward, their number one go-to. He's ranked 18, so similar to Ilya Alia. Key forward that I think he's capable of being top 10 key forward in the competition, but he's not putting that out at the moment. So another reason why they're not succeeding great to great heights so far this season. He's had a couple good performances, but overall a rating of 39.4 does not really rate him too highly compared to most other key forwards in the competition. And there's not much support for him. Jeremy Finlayson has played a few different roles this year, only played the 6 games. His rating's not high. And Ollie Lord showed some good signs. He's young. He'll only get better, but at the moment he's rating well and truly as a below average key forward in the competition. General forwards is another area where they're not dominating. Sam Powell-Pepper has had some good games, had some bad games. He rates above average, but he's their best general forward so far this year, and he's rated 25. So pretty much most teams have at least one general forward that is doing better than every single general forward for Port Adelaide. Willie Rioli is ranked 30, shown signs again that he's good. Darcy Byrne-Jones, 32, pretty similar to where he was last year. Joe Richards, 41, Jackson Mead, 55. So all of those 5 players are playing games. They're not just playing as general forwards. Some are going through midfield, some are going through the wing. But there's 5 general forwards that have basically played every game, and 3 of them are in the above average category, but 2 are in the average. So you're not getting a huge amount of output from them, in all honesty. Joe Berry in the below average category hasn't had a great season so far. And then 3 players that have not played enough games to be ranked. Jack Lukosius, obviously, he would be a big in for this team if he can get back out on the field. Obviously got injured in his second game. Jed McEntee is lowly ranked from what we saw in his 1 game so far. And Tom Cochrane also wouldn't be rated too highly, but potentially something going forward for them. Into the midfield, they've only got 4 players that have overall been rated as an inside mid. They have a lot of players that go through there, but only 4 that have consistently played inside mid. Zach Butters has been outstanding since he joined the team. His first 4 weeks was incredibly good. His corresponding 4 weeks, still pretty solid, not quite up to the standards that they were for his start of his season, but he still ranks 7th as an inside mid in the competition. He's in the elite bracket, which means he's in the top 10% of all inside midfielders in the competition this year. Jason Horne-Francis, as he usually does, has played a bit of forward time, played a bit of inside mid time. He's ranked 40th so far this year. He'll be certainly wanting to improve that once he returns from hamstring injuries. Ollie Wines, he's ranked 59. His best days are probably behind him, but I still think he would want to be rated a lot higher than that. He's in the below average category at the moment. And Willem Drew, last week was really good. His best is good enough to be certainly in average or above average category. We haven't seen enough of that this year. Outside mids, they've got a few that rotate through this area. Jace Burgoyne, sometimes as a general defender, has looked really good. Also plays outside mid at times. What's the best role for him? I don't know. I think outside mid, because I'd like to see him delivering the ball inside 50 a lot. He rates as a top class in outside mid, so I think that's his role. Travis Boak, obviously used to be an inside mid. Now they use him as an outside player. He's pretty solid, average, not great, but certainly plays his role. Christian Moraes, young fella that has done okay with limited opportunities. I think We'll see better from him in the future. Will Lawrence has only played the one game, but was pretty solid in that one game, so it'll be interesting to see what we see from him in the future. Ruckman, obviously Jordan Sweet's played the 8 games, ranked 17th in the competition, pretty solid. Not certainly nowhere near the top 10 Ruckman in the competition, so in fact, I mean, like, he's one of the lower ranked number 1 Ruckmans in the competition. But Dante Vicententi has played 3 games and been solid enough. Actually, across those 3 games, rates slightly higher than Jordan Sweet. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes with a few more games under his belt. Jordan Sweet just not getting it done at the moment. And Ivan Soldo's only played the 1 game, didn't rate very highly in that 1 match. So that's the field, all the positions for Port Adelaide so far this year. This is a breakdown of each position and where they rank. So elite is your top 10% for that position. Top class is your top from 10% to 25%. Above average is 25 to 40%. Average is from top 40% to 60%. And then below average is everyone else, and unranked is people that have played 4 or less games so far this year. So as you can see, key defenders, not great output there, just the 1 above average. General defenders, 1 elite, 1 above average. Key forwards, just 1 above average. No general forwards in the elite or top class range, but 3 and above average. 1 elite inside mid, and then after that it's just 1 average. So that's a key area that they're struggling with at the moment. Outside mids is okay. Ruckman, another area that they're certainly struggling with at the moment, with just 1 in the below average category and 2 in the unranked, but probably would also be in that average to below average category. So total, they only have 2 elite players. AFL average, when you work out the numbers, should be about 2.5, so they're not too far below in that. But the next category, top class, they've just got 1 rating as a top class player so far this year. AFL average would be closer to 4. So across the 2 positions, across the elite and top class range, most teams are going to be looking at about 6 players, just over 6 players. Port Adelaide are currently at 3. So that is a massive, massive loss of talent based on what they had last year, because they had a lot more in that elite to top class range. Obviously, lost Dan Houston was a massive loss for them, but also other players just not performing at their peak, like Jason Horne-Francis in the average category is crazy. He's certainly better than that. Can they improve? They certainly can. Will we see that? I guess we'll wait and find out, but I don't hold high hopes based on what we've seen so far from them this year. Still to come for Port Adelaide, and a little explanation about this graphic. Expected win percentage is based on our ELO rating system that we do for every team after every match. And then it just works out whether, based on home ground advantage as well, doesn't take into account anything like who's actually going out on the field, like team selection and stuff, and it doesn't take into account actual head-to-head records and like between teams and whether a team dominates against another or not. It just takes into full account of what their team's rating is and whether they're at home or not. So they have GWS out of the bye in round 13. Manuka Oval, as you can see, not expected to win that one. I mean, it's not a bad rating at 37.92%, so it's a chance, but they're certainly not favourites. But then they are for the next 3 weeks. They've got 3 games in a row at Adelaide Oval. All 3 are currently bottom 10 teams: Melbourne, Sydney, Carlton. Based on current form, you'd say Melbourne's probably the toughest of those 3. Certainly all winnable games. Will they win them all? Probably not, but they're certainly winnable. Brisbane in round 17 is a tough one at the Gabba. Round 18 West Coast at Adelaide Oval is one that they would expect to win. Round 19 is a tough one down in Tassie against Hawthorn. Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval is the showdown. Somehow they're still rated above Adelaide, but I can't see that lasting much longer. Geelong at GMHBA Stadium is another tough one. Fremantle at Adelaide Oval is a tough game. Fremantle looking a lot better over the last week or two, so that will be interesting. Carlton at Marvel Stadium, so they have 2 games up against the Blues coming home, and then they finish the season with Gold Coast at the Adelaide Oval, and at the moment slightly favourites, but I don't know if that will last. You work out all the expected win percentages. It gives them an expected win tally of 10.2 for the season, which would have them about 13th on the ladder. Clearly missing finals by a fair bit based on what we've seen. No surprise there. They've only won 4 games so far this year, so they're expected to win about 6 more by the end of the season. Certainly won't be enough for finals. Are they capable of making finals? Maybe. They've got a lot of work to do to get to that point. If you work it out, they probably need 9 wins for the rest of the season. How many of those games left are winnable? Well, Melbourne, Sydney, Carlton certainly are. West Coast, you'd have to say, is certainly winnable. Showdown can even go either way, so there's 5 wins. They would need another 4. Maybe Fremantle at Adelaide Oval. Maybe Gold Coast at Adelaide Oval. Maybe Carlton at Marvel. Maybe. But we're really stretching it. They would certainly have to turn their form completely around on what we've seen from them so far this year. So I think 13 wins is too far. 12 is absolute maximum I could see them getting, I think, from this point in the season. But that's everything. That is Port Adelaide's mid-season review. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below where you see Port Adelaide finishing this year. Can they turn their season around, or is it season over for the Power? Don't forget to come back tomorrow. We've got another mid-season review coming your way to the North Melbourne Kangaroos. Don't forget to check out the socials. We have stuff going live on Instagram, TikTok all the time, so go check that out. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because there's plenty more content coming out. And I think it's all good, so check it all out. My name's Jay. This is the All Aussie Rules YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'll catch us on the next one.